exposing the real reason you get triggered. Have you ever found yourself suddenly overwhelmed by emotion, seemingly out of nowhere? Maybe it's a sharp word from a friend, a certain look from a stranger, or even a song on the radio that makes your heart race or your stomach twist. You might wonder, why am I reacting so strongly? What's wrong with me? The truth is, these moments, these triggers, are not signs of weakness or flaws in your character. They are, in fact, powerful messages from your mind and body trying to get your attention. Today, we're going to dive deep into the science and psychology of triggers, unraveling what's really happening beneath the surface, and how understanding them can be the first step toward healing and self-compassion. It's not weakness, it's your brain trying to protect you. Our brains are wired for survival, not happiness. When you get triggered, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, keep you safe from perceived threats. This response is automatic, rooted in millions of years of evolution. When something feels dangerous, whether it's a physical threat or an emotional one, your brain sounds the alarm, activating your body's defense systems. This is the same system that kept our ancestors alive in the wild, helping them avoid predators and other dangers. But in the modern world, those threats are rarely lions or tigers. Instead, they're words, memories, or situations that remind us of past pain. Your brain can't always tell the difference between a real immediate danger and an emotional wound from long ago. So it reacts the same way, flooding your body with stress hormones and preparing you to fight, flee, freeze, or fawn. This is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that your brain is working exactly as it should, even if it sometimes overreacts. Let's break down what's really happening. Let's talk about triggers. The word trigger gets thrown around a lot these days, but what does it actually mean? In psychological terms, a trigger is any stimulus, something you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel, that brings up a strong emotional reaction, often tied to a past experience. Triggers can be obvious, like hearing someone yell if you grew up in a loud or chaotic home, but they can also be subtle, like a certain scent, a song, or even a facial expression. Sometimes you might not even realize what set you off. You just know that suddenly, you're anxious, angry, or sad. This is because triggers are often linked to memories stored deep in your subconscious. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for anything that resembles past pain, and when it finds a match, it reacts instantly, often before you even have time to think. A trigger is anything, a word, a look, a memory, that suddenly sparks a strong emotional reaction. Imagine you're having a conversation, and someone uses a tone of voice that reminds you of a parent who was critical or dismissive. Instantly, you might feel defensive, hurt, or even angry, even if the person didn't mean any harm. Or maybe you see a photo from your childhood and a wave of sadness or longing washes over you. These reactions can feel overwhelming, and sometimes they seem to come out of nowhere. But they're not random. They're your brain's way of alerting you to something that feels unsafe, based on your past experiences. It's like your mind is saying, hey, we've been here before and it didn't feel good, let's be careful. But here's the secret, triggers aren't random. They're old emotional memories, just waiting to be noticed. Every trigger is like a breadcrumb leading you back to a moment in your past when you felt hurt, scared, or unsafe. These memories are stored in your body and mind, sometimes so deeply that you don't even remember the original event. But your nervous system does. When something in the present reminds you of that old pain, your body reacts as if it's happening all over again. This is why triggers can feel so intense and confusing. You're not just reacting to what's happening now, you're also reacting to everything that came before. The good news is, by paying attention to your triggers, you can start to uncover these hidden wounds and begin the process of healing. Most trigger reactions come from our childhood, when our brains were learning what felt safe and what didn't. Childhood is a time of rapid brain development. During these formative years, we're constantly absorbing information about the world and our place in it. We learn what's safe, what's dangerous, and how to get our needs met. If you grew up in a loving, supportive environment, your brain learned that the world is generally safe and that you can trust others. But if you experience trauma, neglect, or inconsistency, your brain learned to be on high alert. Even small moments like being ignored, criticized, or shamed can leave a lasting imprint. These early experiences shape the way we respond to stress in relationships for the rest of our lives. When you're triggered as an adult, it's often your inner child reacting to a situation that feels familiar, even if it's not exactly the same. So when something today reminds your brain of an old hurt, your body jumps into defense mode, fight, flight, freeze, or even fawn, where you try to please others to stay safe. These are the 4 main responses to stress and danger, and they're all designed to protect you. The fight response makes you want to argue, defend yourself, or lash out. The flight response makes you want to run away, avoid the situation, or escape. The freeze response makes you feel stuck, numb, or unable to act. And the fawn response, often overlooked, makes you try to appease others, keep the peace, or put their needs above your own, just to avoid conflict. These responses are automatic, and they can happen in a split second. You might not even realize you're doing them until after the fact. But they all have one thing in common. They're your body's way of trying to keep you safe, based on what you learned in the past. It can feel like your heart races, your stomach drops, or you just want to disappear. These physical sensations are your body's way of preparing for danger, even if the threat is only emotional. You might notice your muscles tensing, your breath getting shallow, or a sudden urge to cry or yell. Sometimes you might feel like you're outside your own body, watching yourself react. These are all normal responses to being triggered. They're signs that your nervous system is on high alert, ready to protect you from harm. But when these reactions happen too often, or in situations that aren't actually dangerous, they can make life feel overwhelming and exhausting. That's why it's so important to understand your triggers and learn how to respond to them with compassion and care. But being triggered doesn't mean you're broken. It means your nervous system is working overtime to protect you. In fact, it's a sign that your body is doing its best to keep you safe, even if it sometimes gets confused about what's dangerous and what's not. The key is to recognize that these reactions are not your fault. You didn't choose your triggers, and you didn't choose the experiences that created them, but you do have the power to change how you respond. By learning to notice your triggers and understand where they come from, you can start to calm your nervous system and create new, healthier patterns. This is the first step toward healing. Not by ignoring or suppressing your triggers, but by listening to them and giving yourself the care you needed all along. Here's the good news. If you can notice your triggers and track what sets them off, you can actually start healing those old wounds. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional healing. When you start to pay attention to your triggers, you become a detective in your own life, gathering clues about what makes you feel unsafe or overwhelmed. You might notice patterns, certain people, places, or situations that always seem to set you off. By writing these down, talking about them with a therapist, or sharing them in a support group, you can start to make sense of your reactions. Over time, you'll begin to see that your triggers are not random or meaningless. They're messages from your past, asking for your attention and care. And the more you listen, the more you can heal. Your triggers aren't your enemy. They're clues pointing toward what still needs care. Think of your triggers as signposts on the road to healing. Each one is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and your story. When you feel triggered, instead of judging yourself or trying to push the feeling away, try to get curious. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Where have I felt this before? Sometimes the answers will surprise you. You might uncover memories or beliefs you didn't even know you had. But every time you do, you're taking a step toward healing the parts of yourself that have been hurt or neglected. This process takes time and patience, but it's worth it. Because every trigger you heal brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be, whole, resilient, and free. So next time you feel triggered, pause. Take a deep breath. Notice what's happening in your body and mind. You don't have to react right away. Give yourself permission to feel whatever comes up without judgment or shame. This simple act of pausing can make all the difference. It gives your nervous system a chance to calm down, and it gives you the space to choose how you want to respond. You might decide to take a break, talk to someone you trust, or write about your feelings in a journal. Whatever you choose, remember that you're not alone. Everyone has triggers, and everyone has the capacity to heal. What's your body really telling you? Your body is wise. It holds the memories of everything you've ever experienced, both good and bad. When you're triggered, your body is trying to communicate with you. Maybe it's telling you that you need more safety, more love, or more boundaries. Maybe it's reminding you of a time when you didn't get what you needed, and inviting you to give it to yourself now. By listening to your body and honoring its messages, you can start to build a new relationship with yourself, one based on trust, compassion, and respect. This is the heart of emotional healing, learning to care for yourself in the ways you always needed, but didn't always receive. Subscribe for more emotional literacy, and keep walking your healing path. Remember, healing is not a destination, but a journey. Every step you take, every trigger you explore, brings you closer to understanding yourself and creating the life you want. You have the power to transform your pain into wisdom, your triggers into teachers, and your wounds into sources of strength. So keep going, keep learning, and know that you are not alone on this path. Together we can create a world where everyone feels safe, seen, and supported. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on emotional health, self-awareness, and healing. Your journey matters, and you deserve all the care and compassion in the world.